Hi, this is Cheryl Miller, Mayor of Cheryl Millerville. In this segment, we're going to talk about emotional wellness at work. And this is an extremely important topic, one that a lot of employers don't like to talk about, but they experience the effects of it. So let's talk about it. Our emotional well-being is more important to our health and happiness than we'll admit. We don't just need to tough it out. I think a lot of people think we just need to tough it out, and we really don't. Sometimes we actually need some help, some support, and some tools. So we'll talk about all of that. First, I want to put in a plug for the movie called The Guitar. It's directed by Amy Redford. It's an independent film about a woman who has throat cancer, which is a metaphor for her fear about speaking up. And in the opening scene, she finds out that the cancer is terminal, that she's been dumped by her boyfriend and by her employer. So here she is. She's got a clean slate. It looks like a bummer, but she's got this clean slate, and now she can rewrite her life. So through the whole movie, you find out how she rewrites her whole script. It's really a fascinating movie. I think you might enjoy it. She changes everything in kind of quirky, interesting ways, but it's one of my top 10 movies. So, after the plug, my dog is bugging me. Toby! He needs some emotional support. So, one of the questions that I was asked is, if you don't like your job, how could that have a negative effect on your health? Well, boy, we see this all the time, don't we? This is really, really big. If you don't like your job, nothing goes as well. You don't sleep as well, you'll be stressed, you're maybe disappointed, frustrated, irritable. You might get physically sick, like stomach ache or digestive things are really one of the bigger problems with people who don't like whatever it is they're doing, because they can't digest it. That's kind of the metaphor for the ways that they kind of get sick. But stress causes an awful lot of different kinds of illnesses. So it's just not good. I've been there. So a couple of the things you could do is you can make a decision to find a better fit. Either find a better job or, hey, start your own business. It's really becoming more and more popular these days with all of the internet tools. You can become your own entrepreneur. But you know what? If that's not on your radar, what you can do is decide to be okay with the job that you're in until something better comes along, until you create something that fits you a little bit better. So you can choose to let something bother you that's happening in your job, or you can reframe it. I love the whole idea of reframing. Reframing helps you change the way you look at something, and when you change the way you look, my dog, Toby, when you change the way you look at things, he's reframing me right now. He says, let's make this all about me, not all about you. So when you reframe things, instead of saying, I hate this job, it's the pits. They don't value me. You can say something like, I get some good things out of this job. For now, I'm going to focus on the good things I'm getting out of this job while I'm working here, and be open to doing some different things. Good grief. You can also kind of put a positive spin on the whole job getting thing, to say, I can find another job. I just need a minute. So the next question that I was asked to answer is, do you have any suggestions for people who work really long hours and have trouble sleeping? You know, I think this is almost epidemic proportions. This happens to us a lot. We work long hours, and then if that's the case, your RAM is totally taken up by information overload, project deadlines, technology issues, interruptions, and all the rest. What ends up happening is you end up being plugged in. He reminds me of a coworker. If you're always plugged in, okay, Toby, imagine that I'm your supervisor and I say, hey, go off and do some work, because we have to get some work done here. It's not all about you. Call the EAP. Go get some help. So, yeah, the suggestions about people work really long hours and they can't sleep, that's happened to a lot of us. My thinking about that is if you have a lot of input going on in your life where a lot of information is coming at you and you're plugged into your computer, your telephone, internet, all of those things really inundate your body, mind, and spirit with information. So when you try to get some sleep, you can't sleep because you're having to process all that information. So if you don't, definitely plan some time to just be quiet and download that stress and have really nothing plugged in. How many people really go home and have nothing turned on? I think that's rare. I'm one of the people, I go home and I turn on nothing. It's dead silent. I like music and all that, but there's a time and a place for music, and I like to have a lot of open space in my life, a lot of silence. I leave the back door open a lot so I can hear the birds chirping and the wind chime. You heard one of those in part of the other series, but I really enjoy the natural sounds rather than being plugged in, and therefore I sleep better. So anyway, that's a great idea. Unplug when you go to bed. Maybe have a tab in your journal called worry, and write down all the things you're worried about so that they're safe in a place written down so you won't forget them. You won't have to run them through your mind again. And just close the book, back away from the book, go to bed and say, hey, I'm not going to worry anymore because it's in that book and it's safe and I can think about it again tomorrow, and you'll be in good shape. So, you know what, emotional wellness at work is such a huge topic that I'm going to stop here and I'm going to take up the conversation in part 2. So join me again for part 2. Signing off for now, it's Cheryl Miller, Mayor of Cheryl Millerville, where we learn to live healthy, happy lives in this lifetime. Thanks for joining.